Welcome to highlights of the Arctic Race of Norway here on GCN Racing. Stage 3 was a mountaintop finish, 176.5 kilometres from Sortland to the Storheia summit at Melbu. The riders would fight it out over 3 Category 2 climbs, which included twice over the Storvatnet, contest 3 intermediate sprints, the final of which coming at 34.5 to go, before tackling the brutally steep 3.5 kilometre climb to the line, which averaged 11.8%. Matthew van der Poel took a 9-second lead over Alexei Lutsenko into the stage. Could he climb with the best and keep his leader's jersey? They were climbing from the start on the second category, King of the Mountains at Storheia. It was the salmon jersey wearer Steve Cummings who took the lead on stage 1, who came over the top, taking maximum points. It took about 25 kilometres from the break to become established, but eventually 5 riders went clear and included Danny van Poppel of Jumbo-Visma, Christian Sperali of the Israel Cycling Academy, Timo Willems of Sport Vlaanderen Balois, Brian Kocher, Vito Concept and Erlen Blecher of Team Coop. Happy with the makeup of the break, the peloton put the brakes on, allowed them to build a lead. Kocher, the winner of stage 2, was in the breakaway and keen to take sprint points. He would set a precedent at Mira with 132 kilometres to go. Despite wearing the points jersey, he was just keeping it warm for Matthew van der Poel, who of course was in the leader's jersey of the Midnight Sun, but also leading in the points classification thanks to his first and second places on the opening 2 days. His team Corridon Circus were working hard on the front, the gap never really going above 3:30. They rolled through sprint 2 at Sortland, Kocher taking the points on the front. Sperali pinched some King of the Mountains points on the Storvatnet summit, but he was unlikely to trouble Steve Cummings in the lead in that competition. Katusha Alpecin for Zakharin were now contributing to the pacemaking, with Astana for Lutsenko in close attendance. Inside 40 kilometres remaining, Brian Kocher was still on the front. The Frenchman would go on to take his 3rd intermediate sprint of the day at Stokmarknes. It was job done though for the Vito Concept man. He'd closed the gap to van der Poel in the points classification and waved goodbye to the breakaway. He now sits just 3 points behind the Corridon Circus rider with 1 stage to go. With 20 kilometres to go, the gap was now down to 1 minute and 11 seconds. 10 kilometres further up the road though, and the breakaway lost a strong rider in Danny van Poppel. The Dutchman's day in the escape ended by a buckled rear wheel. The peloton though were really winding up the pace, charging towards the foot of the final climb to try and gain optimum position for the narrow roads of Storheia. The break with 5.7 to go was now down to 9 seconds. A crash at the back saw several riders held up, including Katusha Alpecin's Nathan Haas. With the peloton closing, Norwegian Erlen Blecher saw his chance and made an attack for Team Coop. It was a valiant effort, but he would eventually be caught. Behind the peloton, Fominik and Zakharin were also amongst those impeded by the crash. As the slopes of the climb really started to bite, more riders were losing contact from the main group. Wanty Group Gobert were the next to attack, with Loic Vliegen putting a big dig off the front. This move would ultimately start to draw the strongest riders clear. Matthew van der Poel was still in contention at this point, but more and more riders succumbed to the steep gradients. Looking to test the Dutchman Alexei Lutsenko and French champion Warren Barguil made their move, followed by odd Christian Eiking and an erratic looking Hugo Houlet. Lutsenko looked back over his shoulder, remonstrated with Barguil, but perhaps looking for some help, or was it that he saw teammate Houlet coming across, but also bringing Eiking with him? The pace was too hot for van der Poel to follow, and he started to lose ground. It was now clear that the winner of the stage would come from this 4-rider leading group as they continued to climb to the summit. With 400 metres to go, Norway's Eiking made his move, clearly using his local knowledge to his advantage. Warren Barguil reacted, but Eiking was pulling away from the rest as they approached the finish. Barguil had started in 11th at 16 seconds. Eiking crossed the line to take the stage. Barguil behind was putting time into Lutsenko, who would cross the line in 3rd. He'd started in 2nd overall, but it would be Warren Barguil who took over in the jersey as race leader. A great victory for odd Christian Eiking of Wanty Group Gobert. Confirmation of your stage result. Odd Christian Eiking takes the stage ahead of Warren Barguil. Alexei Lutsenko in third. Karmajan Nieland, Hule Slagter, Karl Lunker and Nielsen, your top 10. Matthew van der Poel would eventually cross the line 1 minute and 22 seconds down, losing the race lead. It's now Arkea Samsic's Warren Barguil, who's the leader of the Arctic Race of Norway with one stage to go, but a slender lead of 3 seconds over Alexei Lutsenko, with Chris Nielands in third at 15 seconds. Will it come down to a battle for the bonus sprints? The fourth and final stage is apparently flat, according to the road book. It takes in 165.5 kilometers from Lødingen to Narvik. No fewer than 4 Category 1 climbs, a Cat 2 and 3 intermediate sprints before a little hilltop finish in Narvik. Will Warren Barguil run out the winner of the Arctic Race of Norway?